Okay, so welcome everybody onto my channel, Wisdom Conversations, where we have spiritual conversations with different people to expand our perspectives and knowledge about the world and gain useful tools. Today, we have a new guest who's going to join us. His name is Michael, and he's going to share a little bit about a story of a toxic relationship that he went through and some of the tools and ways that he grew out of that experience. So, welcome, Michael. How are you doing today, Michael?
Well, Joe, thank you. Thank you for letting me be on the show. I feel feeling pretty outside of my comfort zone, and that's just the way how I like it to be today. So it's gonna be amazing.
Awesome. I love that. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone with you. So I'm just started this myself, and but yeah, what a great thing to do in itself. And um, yeah, I'm really happy to be here in this conversation with you today.
It's gonna be amazing. We already know it. We talked about it already. It's gonna be fine. So yeah. First of all, I want to thank you again because your post that I saw on the forum really inspired me to finally get outside of my comfort zone, to also do my own thing. But also it inspired me to talk about my story with the relationship that I had. So thank you for that.
Definitely, yeah, and appreciate you as well for taking this chance to just jump on here with me. And we have not met before, guys, so another person just he's just jumped on, ready to go to join us. So yeah, thank you, Michael, as well.
um, so yeah, I decided that I did want to talk about a very painful ending of a relationship that I had, and that has been 7, 8 years ago, and the experiences from that, and also the pain from that, and then how much it totally shut me down, and basically I totally lost myself in every way possible. And I can imagine that, breakups are a thing. It happens with a lot of people. And sometimes I still hear people talking about it 30, 20, 10, 20, 30 years later because they could not find peace or resolution with it. And I hope with my story that perhaps there is some understanding or something that helps you in moving further. So yes, 8 years ago, I still remember it very clearly that I had an amazing day with my brother. Was going to a Gamescom gaming convention in Germany, and I had an amazing day. I came home, and well, then she came to me and then she said, like, we have to talk. And I already felt there was, something off to that. And then, well, there she told me that we were not compatible, and then that she wanted to break up. And for me, in that moment in time, it it broke me in that moment so badly that I created in that moment an instant PTSD. I did not know what I had at that moment. I got later diagnosed that I had a heavy form of PTSD, and let's just say that I was not capable anymore to see the difference between um, reality and fiction. It was that bad with PTSD. For people that don't know, PTSD comes basically also from in the war a shell shock effect. From the moment an event happens where your pain becomes so big, then your brain is like, oh, I cannot handle this. And it will also not let you handle it. What happens is it will just shut you down, like your motoric functions, but also your thinking, your doing, your feeling. It shuts down completely. I was like a zombie. I could not function anymore. I did not realize even what happened. And then, of course, the doubt started, and the pain started, and being thrown in a victim mentality, asking like, why did I deserve this? Why did it happen to me? um I never really could. Well, afterwards, many years later, I now perfectly understand why everything had to happen exactly how it should have happened. And like I talked with you before, I'm really grateful that it happened, because that experience really started my journey in a very intense way towards self-development and towards getting to know myself, who I was and where I want to be and what I want to feel, or what type of friends I want to have, which path I want to take. Because it all started with asking myself the question, why did I have to go through this experience? Well, um it seems that I was already on the wrong path. I felt many times so badly, also in the relationship already, but I never really had the courage to express how I felt or showing my boundaries. I was very codependent. When the breakup happened, there was a total loss of myself. Because when you're codependent in a very big way, you tend to totally lose yourself. Um, and I did. I went. I went. I'm not gonna try to explain the pain that I went through, but there are not many words for it. But what I can say is, I'm really happy in that moment when I was really in so much pain that I almost could not see the end of it, or what I'm gonna do with my life. And in that moment, I saw one of Thiel's videos. Maybe perhaps some people have seen it before. It's called the most dangerous parallel reality. Basically, what happens if it's also, I do gonna say, it's one of the most intense pains you will ever feel, and I hope you will never experience it. It's the pain is torments you from the inside out. Basically, what happens in a parallel universe or a reality is you have a lot of pain inside, but the external world, nobody really validates it or confirms it, or basically you get without they or people outside in your world really meaning it, they basically gaslight you in the sense of everything is okay, everything is fine, there's nothing wrong, you don't feel pain, there's nothing there. And in the meantime, yeah.
I was just going to jump in and just for you guys that aren't familiar, we're referring to a spiritual teacher named Teal Swan. So she's really involved in relationship related issues and stuff beyond that. But just so you guys are familiar, if you want to check her out, we're Teal Swan is the name of the spiritual teacher. And yeah, go ahead and continue
Mhm.
there. Wanted to
And so, and the pain was so intense. I had no I had no way to really get a confirmation from the external world that my pain was valid. That was a really huge thing that I missed, because we had similar friends, and sometimes we were at an event or something similar where other people were around, including her, and yet everyone pretended as nothing happened. Everything was, perfectly fine. And I can tell you that is one of the most torturous things can happen. And the pain became so intense that I could not believe anymore that this world was real in a way. My pain was, I felt my pain inside and it felt so real, yet the external environment, it was
Right.
not a reflection of my inner world. And of course, from the moment that happens, you and the pain is so intense, you're gonna lose all sense of reality almost. If the yeah
One of one thing that Teal Swan mentions, and I personally agree with myself, is the, the really at the root of a lot of human suffering is loneliness and isolation, and especially in relationship to people and relationships. If we are very alone in something, and it's almost like being in a very different reality than others, and that sense of being by yourself, being alone and trapped in that isolation is pretty much what she's saying is the worst suffering a human can get into.
loneliness can do a lot with people. I know so many people that, or couples even, where people prefer to be unhappy together than happy alone. It happens so often, including for myself. I still remember when, I will never forget this. The breakup just happened, and I went to one of the events, and there was a couch, and I was sitting there, and it was someone that I knew, and I was looking at him, but I was fully fully drowned into the pain of what happened. And I looked at him, and I'm like, I still asked him. I never will forget this. I asked him, how can you not be in pain? Like, how is it possible that you're happy alone, doing your thing or whatever you were doing? um I will never forget that, how much I was sucked into the pain, and also not seeing any other possibilities anymore. Like, it was insane. um so I also then found out I had a very serious form of PTSD. But one of the wonderful things that what happened, because a therapist told me that, I had I under I got an understanding of what was going on with me, because I had no idea what was going on. And well, one of the things that I'm very good at, even if in my most horrendous pain, I was curious. Okay, I understand what I have. What can I do with it? How can I grow with it? What can I? There's something, right? Because I already I thought by myself, this cannot be it. I mean, is this life? Is this what we should do? Like, suffer and be in pain, and then perhaps, kill yourself, or go crazy, or stuff like that. I was curious. I'm not sure how to say it. I was curious, in some way or form. And so I started my journey, and it was, in the beginning, very simple. I dropped every single responsibility that I had, except feeding my cat. That was the only thing that I did and what mattered to me. And for the rest, everything fell away in a sense.
Wow.
How I went into it is basically I threw myself in back to inside myself, to trying to find myself again. Um, so without any external um, distortion or things that could, you know, influence me on a vibrational level. And for a very long time, the only thing I did was only doing the things that I wanted to do, because I was very codependent. So I had no sense of self, basically, in what I wanted to do or how I wanted to feel. And that is, I'm not gonna lie, the pain will be there. Um, and the only thing that you can do is, well, of course you can be in resistance, and trust me, I was mad as hell, and all the frustration and the pain that came with it. But I'm now going back to basically the very first, yes, basically the very first thing what I have done in an extreme way. I'm someone that really likes to go all out in certain areas. For example, the first 3 or 4 months, I expressed my suppressed emotions. I had many suppressed emotions from
Mhm.
several years of a very toxic relationship. And man, there are many things I can talk about, but that was key. I would not be the person today that I am if I did not went full out in expressing all the emotions that I had. If I was angry, I spit it out, or I pushed a pillow, or I went to the forest and screamed, which, by the way, I recommend to everyone. It's an amazing way to get that emotions out. You have to get them out. Um,
What
expressing
inspired you? Like, what turned you on to knowing about the emotional expression as being like a way to heal from that? Was that
it,
through
it
a therapist or Teal or?
no, it just came. I felt an eruption. I basically, I think it was instinct or intuition. I think it was intuition. I had a very strong, like, suppressed, a lot of emotions were suppressed that I never spoke about or did anything with. And all wanted to come out. It all wanted to come out. And you have to let it come out. Because if you don't, some people they tend to, oh, I'm gonna work the whole day and to get my mind off it, or I'm gonna have a rebound, or whatever people do to cope with it and not go, deep inside and get those emotions. You have to get those suppressed emotions out. Period. I
Mhm.
don't I don't even want to talk about anything else if that person hasn't done it yet. Why do I say that? It's the beginning of you will chain yourself in life so badly, and you will grow in your personal self-development so slowly if you ignore that important aspect of yourself. If you have suppressed emotions, and I think most people have in some way or form, you have to take responsibility and you have to get them out. I have one rule that I always talk to people if I try to get those suppressed emotions out. You don't harm other people, and you don't, obviously, someone mentioned that also. But do you then harm animals? No, of course not. You don't harm people and you don't harm animals. You are with yourself. Maybe you can kick a tree or uh, smash something to smithereens. Of course, nothing illegal. I'm just, trying a way to express your suppressed emotions. it's I cannot explain how crucial this is. Um, I'm trying, because
What's so important about these emotions? Like
yes,
what are they? It's like there's something trapped in your body, some feelings, like they're just
yes,
gooey feelings. Why are they important? Where
because it's you. It's your. There are your feelings. There were times where you wanted to feel mad and you didn't. There were times you wanted to cry, you didn't. Maybe there were times you were anxious, you didn't want to show it. So many scenarios in life, and I'm pretty sure people know exactly what I talk about, where you do know feel a certain emotion. And in my case, well, there was a lot of suppressed emotions in the relationship where I did not show when I was angry or my boundaries were violated. But I thought, oh, you know what, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And then I went to gaming or to my to back in the day still school or other things just to get my focus of it, thinking everything will be fine. And we all know, especially the ones that have been doing a lot of self-development, it will come out at some point. And if you don't consciously choose to do it yourself when you have those emotions, and then, okay, there are some tools, or going to the forest or a pillow or whatever you do, and you don't take that conscious choice, I can guarantee you, and everybody, I think pretty much everybody knows that by now, if you don't do it, it will come out at a point where you don't want it, with people that you care about, and you will hurt them.
hmm,
It's a guarantee almost. Well, it's a guarantee, I would say. Um, Damn, what I wanted to talk about. Um, so yes, the expression, and I'm trying to keep it quite compressed. One of the first things you do have to do if you have such a painful event happening to you, call a friend, or maybe on the forum, but still, do it in a way that is constructive to also towards other people. But you have to get it out, get those suppressed emotions out, because else, if you don't, they will limit you very hardly on your future spiritual growth. And I will leave it at that. A concrete example that I, for example, did was I went doing Wing Chun, because Wing Chun, I came around people. It was also very physical because there was a lot of sparring involved, and it also gave me a way to express my emotions in a way, but also the energy around it, like sports, perfect thing to do to get those suppressed emotions out, for example, in a healthy way. I'm
getting into your body a little bit, was that part of
Yes.
that? The Wing Chun and the sports, just getting in physically into your body helps you access more of the emotions, maybe, or
Yes, it depends on where you do it, but Wing Chun, where I practice this, there was a lot of sparring, and trust me, you also have the gloves, like the special. I'm not sure, I don't have them here. They're in a box, but yeah, I know, once you got hit by it, you felt it, but also that means that, oh, like you said, you get back into your body. And I think that helped me also to not always think about the pain. And it's a good way to burn that excessive energy that you have inside of yourself. Um, Maybe just a little bit more about the expressing of the emotions. For example, what I did, because I had the luxury that I was living alone, so I could express my emotions. And I just went like, was I mad? I was mad. Was I anxious? I was anxious. If I wanted to cry, I did cry. I did this for 4 months straight, every single minute of the day.
Wow.
I went full out, full out. I always say like, yeah, it was insane. But I needed it. I felt intuitively that was what I had to do. And after 4 months, less of that excessive pain came to mind. Also, what I can say, if you still have a lot of the suppressed emotions, don't think about, oh, you know what, I haven't resolved my emotions yet, but I gonna talk it out. I'm gonna talk with this person, or maybe you can see still this person, and you wanna talk it over with. Yeah, it's not. At least I can only speak from my own life experience. If you still have a lot of emotions involved, you will get triggered like all the time, and then you get mad, or then there's a fight, etc., etc. So even if you truly want to resolve it, it's not. It's gonna again limit you, chain you into the resolve that you want. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to get those suppressed emotions out. After that, if you feel that there is less emotions boiling up and you get triggered less, well, and again, I can only speak about my own life experience as a codependent person that had to learn himself again to be himself. You have to, at some point, try shit out, experiment, try new things, whatever it is. And of course, I can also go very deep into that one, but it is partly to rediscover yourself, to see what you like, what you don't like, the type of people you want. Because I also saw that, oh, I don't like the people that I was with, or most of them, not all, there are always exceptions. But overall, I was following a path of that I didn't know which people I wanted to be with, and I also had to figure that out. I'm very grateful that that experience happened, and I really wanted to press it on everyone that is going through such a difficult, painful event. Yes, you're gonna curse the universe out many times in the moment itself, but I can guarantee you that there was a reason for it. There was a reason for it, to reflect to yourself, to see where you are or what path you had taken. And well, it seemed that it didn't work out for whatever reason. But all that stuff, you can only do it from the moment you have those suppressed emotions out. Then you can go more on a discovery journey, I would say. Myself, for me, it was very simple. I fed my cat and I loved working in my garden. That's what I did. No thought. That was the only thing I did. It was also very healing for me, but that's just a personal thing. You have to find, the thing that you love doing. Um, uh, so many things are going through my mind right now. But perhaps I will now just mention the tool that I have used for a very long time. I really like the tool, because, and I think many people also know it in the self-development field, I assume, and that's called the Honopono technique.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
You know that one?
yeah.
Uh,
I've had good experience with that myself.
many people, and of course there are many other techniques and tools, and I will, after this I will also do a quick and dirty a short version of all the other things that I've done to help me get out of the victim mentality, etc., etc. But the Honopono technique, it is extremely powerful. It is very powerful, because I still remember reading about it and I was like, oh, maybe it works, I was learning about it, and then I saw, oh, comes from ancient wisdom from the from Hawaii, and it was already, I think, 14,000 years being used in the 5th or 6th century. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what struck me was they already had a comprehension of that the external world is just a reflection from your internal world, and that gave me the I'm not sure how to say it, just the interest to try it out. Let's see if it works. And for the people who don't know what it is, the Honopono technique, it's very, very simple. You just mention 4 sentences. And the first one is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Those 4 sentences, whenever you feel down, whenever you had a bad experience, or you feel the pain or anything like that, you say those 4 sentences in whatever form you want it to be. If you were sitting down, or you want to, what I did, for example, I bow down and with my head against the ground to feel more grounded. But that's, it felt good to me, so that's why I did it. Everybody, can find their own way of doing it. And then just say those 4 sentences. In the beginning, what is so amazing about this technique is you don't need a conscious understanding of what is happening. Basically, you don't have to visually imagine something or understand, or the reason why that all happened, or any of that stuff. And the first sentence, for example, I am sorry, has a really big meaning, in the sense of, and it's also what I preach and teach and do myself, is I am sorry. Basically, what you do is you take responsibility for your life. That's huge. Huge. And
It's
I
like
can also,
accountability for your part in something. Is that I'm
yes,
like I recognizing the part in myself that
you
contributes?
you you have the responsibility for your own life, but you also have the power for your own life. This sounds silly, but you are the only one that knows your own life. You know your feelings and emotions and experiences and whatever, but you are the only one. And of course, what we tend to do is we like to ask the advice of other people, and that's fine. People can support you and help you, but at the end, it's you who has to take the decision for your own life. So you have to take the responsibility. Funny enough, and I will not go too much into detail right now, but there's some amazing things that will happen if you truly take full 100% responsibility for your life, which I will not go into now, but maybe in the next visit. So the second one is, please forgive me. And basically what you do is, also those sentences, you speak them to the universe or God or whatever you feel fancy, but in essence you also speak it to yourself, because you are the universe in essence. But please forgive me, when you say that, for example, to someone, you release an emotional state, or you release a burden, or I'm not sure how to say it differently. You don't hold on anymore to the anger or whatever it is. So that's also a very powerful state. And then the third sentence is thank you. And basically, thank you. And we all also know that from our teaching, from our spiritual journey, gratitude is a very powerful vibrational state.
Definitely.
Extremely powerful. Oh, I still practice. If you want a concrete exercise to do that you can do at home, think about 5 things right now that you're grateful for, like truly, truly grateful for. I kid you not. One of the things, it is a total side note, and I didn't know I would talk about this, but one of the most precious things for me, for gratitude, when I was doing this exercise, was my washing machine. Like, you know, the how do you call it? The thing where you put all your food stuff and your plates and stuff in. That thing, I love that thing to death because it saves me so much time and effort and just manually doing the whole, washing stuff. And it sounds so silly.
So
But
you
I
think
was
the Hopo Ono with your dishwasher is
yeah.
that you're frustrated with your dishwasher is broken down? You're the Hopo
Well,
Ono.
of course, there's also something like, item detachment or personal detachment, but I'm not gonna go there right now. But it felt right. I mean, and this is just an example that I give, but the gratitude feeling was there. It was part of me, and it was real. And then it doesn't matter anymore what you think is silly or, you know, something that you don't think fits with you, whatever illusionary thought you have with that or concept. It doesn't matter. The only matters is you feel a certain emotional feeling. And in this case, I'm very grateful for my dishwasher. That's it. If that helps you, then just do it. Well, again, I don't want to go sidetracking, but I follow a very simple guideline. If something feels good to you, you do it. If something doesn't feel good to you, you stop doing it. And it sounds very simple, but I can guarantee you it's not that simple. If you want to consistently do that with everything in your life, well, you're gonna face a lot of challenges and people and things like that. But that's a story for another time. The third sentence is "I love you." Oh man, also this one is huge in a sense. "I love you" is basically a form of expressing love towards the universe or God or whoever you want. But also, again, like I said before, it's also an expression towards yourself. So it's also a very strong form of self love. And whew, I get almost emotional from it. But self love, how cliche it may sound, is one of the most powerful methods of healings or heal energies that you can have. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. From the moment you really go deep into that, and I will definitely um, show people in different ways how to do self-love. And you have so many ways you can do it. It's insane. Because from the moment you have self-love, people don't always understand how concrete in this life, in this experience, in this lifetime, how that can serve you. If you have true self-love with yourself, you're gonna stand up for yourself. You're gonna show your boundaries because you love yourself. It's something that people sometimes think like, you do your self-development, blah blah, and a lot of self-love, and then they automatically think like you're a doormat. No, that's not the case. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. If you truly love yourself, you will stand up for yourself when it is needed. When you have a lot of self-love, oh, this is also amazing. If you have a lot of self-love deep inside of you, it will flow over into other people. So you have a lot of love also to give to other people. And you're also not any dependent or attached anymore that you need love from someone else. It's whew, it's
How
amazing.
does that how does that relate to the codependent type of where you
That
sacrifice,
is
or is that kind of the opposite energy in a way?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
being codependent, basically you push away everything of yourself, who you are, what you feel, what you want to do, it all under the um presence of, how you say that, under the form, under the idea that, I want to sacrifice, everything for that other person.
Uh,
And like Teal also mentions that quite clearly, well, that is not the case at all. You just want to, access passively or indirectly a form of manipulation or control, that the person doesn't leave you. um and it's and it's easy. That's the only thing I can say, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna trigger a lot of people right now by saying that. um but basically you let the other one steer your ship of your life, so you don't have to take, any more responsibility or decision making or any of that stuff. And, well, universally speaking, oh, I can there's so many things I want to talk about, but I'm
beautiful.
looking at the time, so
Yeah.
and there's also good exercise for myself to stay on point and focus a little bit on it. So for the people that never heard about it or never tried it, please do. The important factor is be consistent. um Even if nothing is changed in a day, it's also not how it works. You practiced, for example, complaining many years, so that's why many people are very good at it. So it also takes the other way around, a lot of consistent doing it every single day. Same with Honopono. Like I said before, every single day you feel that it's not going well, then you just say those 4 sentences. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then you don't even have to think about it anymore. And you can just, let it go. And then also what helped me also a lot, and it's not easy, is to change your focus. You are in pain, you are going through something very difficult, or you're crying, or whatever you're going through, then you can choose to, it's okay to be in that pain and cry and, get those expressed emotions out. But at a certain point, it's good to change the focus or try something. Or even if it's just a walk. Like, by the way, I'm a big fan of walking. Walking has a lot of subconscious healing things in there, because basically, in essence, you're moving forward in essence. And that can help you in many ways. But again, this is maybe a topic for another time. I'm just thinking, what is something very important that I forget? Or maybe you know something, or that you want to ask me something. Um, hmm.
I want to. I just want to like appreciate you for sharing such. Uh, you went through such a difficult time with this breakup, and the way you expressed it, this was a, I don't know if life shattering or just really dark. Chat broke you, right? You said this is a really
Mhm.
breaking experience. Um, and it seems like it almost puts you in this like existential like
Oh
place
yes,
where like
I
I
was
believe.
borderline. I was so borderline. What many people that have, I really hope you will not ever experience this, but many people that have experienced something like the parallel reality did commit suicide, and or did went crazy. um um but for me, there was, maybe that sounds silly, but for me there was, I just believed, or deep inside I did not have a logical reason for it, but the only thing I could think of this can't be it. This can't be it.
It's got to be
I
something more.
refuse. Yes, I refuse to believe that this is why we are on this earth. And we are here to learn and challenge and, grow. I'm not saying that. But yeah, in those darkest moments, I refused to believe it. And of course, now I look further on it for many years now. And the amazing godlike experience that I received and the changes of my life that I have done. And of course, I am just trying to pinpoint in those 30 minutes just a little bit, a fraction of what I experienced. And there are many, many more tools that I used. Oh, yes, this may be a very concrete thing for people at home listening. Very quick and dirty, some very concrete things. The exercise part, if you want to eat sugar, that's fine. But I can guarantee you, if you eat less sugar, it will also be less. It will create less pain. You will feel less crappy in a way. I tried it. It absolutely works. Again, those are some tips. And
Any
also walking.
advice on that one? I have a bit of a sugar addiction sometimes, and I'm hearing that message like, oh God, okay, so yeah, back on the
It's
sugar.
You know how I do it? It's and this is totally maybe off topic, but so I only drink water anymore. But that doesn't mean that I enjoy sugar. When I go with a friend out or something like that, I get a Coke or I get a Fanta, or I prefer Fanta. And I enjoy. The cool thing is, if you don't do it every day anymore, you're gonna just appreciate it more. You're gonna enjoy it more. Because we tend to do a lot of this stuff automatically out of routine. And a lot of times you don't really need it so much. So that is also definitely a possibility, and also health reasons. But I know I'm not going to talk about that stuff right now. But was there another? I'm thinking of something very concrete. Yeah. See, now I'm starting to think, and then of course nothing comes to mind. But I think I mentioned and said what I wanted to say. Hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like you've shared very personally about something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Maybe not exactly like your situation, but being in a really toxic relationship or maybe going through a really dark time or breakup. I think a lot of people have experienced themselves being in a type of codependent relationship. Um, so I think that you're sharing here is really relevant to a lot of people that can see themselves here or somewhere in their life where they've gone through something like this, the and the tools that you've shared here, as far as you've mentioned, like the emotional expression, that the very important, right? You sounded very charged up and like you got to get the emotions out
Yeah,
first.
you know why I say that? Because so many times I also give, not always, it's very specific. I do give, one-on-one sessions to people or help where I can. A lot of times I feel the suppressed emotion is not out. It is not out. It's like inside, and then it also twists how you speak and how you act and behave. You can sense it in a way, Ollie. Um, and again, like I said before, it really limits your growth. From the moment you can get that out, you will go lightning speed forward.
Awesome.
Guaranteed. Um, Again, I can only speak from my own life experience. um,
I love it though. I love that you shared that. And yeah, the emotional expression. So get those out first. If you're in that type of situation, going through a breakup, maybe you're depressed. Maybe the emotions are good in other people's situations too, where they're depressed, or
yeah.
does that get you back alive somehow, or what is that? I guess you mentioned a lot already too.
Yeah, it's with I'm not gonna go there right now, but the depression state, it's possible because many, I'm not sure who said it, but they also see it as a form of deep sleep, that you're basically forced to go into yourself, in essence, to learn about you and reconnect with yourself. Um, and that is basically the next step that you do with creating awareness around who you are, and that's a very not so easy, which I also can talk hours about. But yeah.
I had a question I wanted to ask you from listening to you, because you mentioned like the codependent type stuff, um, and you've shared both about getting in touch with emotions and also the Ho'oponopono type of the mantra.
Pono pono.
Um, do you recommend like is getting out the emotions first really important, like getting that out first before the, because I've heard in terms of like codependence, like as far as healing, it's one thing they do is they suppress their anger and their sense of self. Is it important to get out that anger first before we go into like a type of like Ho'oponopono thing, or can they use interchangeably, or what do you recommend?
Mm, of course, whatever you feel. Um, what I do like about Ho'oponopono is it will vibrate those emotions, or will trigger, or like will you will even get a higher sense, or a deeper sense of, oh, I want to get these emotions out. That's what Oponopono does. Basically, it pushes you in a certain way that feels right for you, and maybe there are other important aspects that you have to deal with first. But again, I can only speak about, and I only want to speak about my own life experience. So if I did not do the expression of my suppressed emotions and feelings, it would have stopped me from having great connections with people, enjoying the things that I do. Maybe one thing I can do mention is, because I'm a guy, and I'm not saying every guy is like this, but many times I heard about this, that I also had to learn which emotional states there were. Like, I just Googled those 30 words or whatever, were 30 in the beginning, of the different emotional states that you can be in, or the feelings that you have with all those states, just to get a sense of, oh, I know that, I think, from my past. This is, I gave this exercise to someone, and maybe this is also a useful exercise for someone else. If you have difficulty with expressing of emotion and feelings, you Google, and then you probably get a list of 30 different states of being, and the certain emotions and feelings that you have in that state. You read the explanation, and then you go back into your life. It doesn't matter how long it takes, or whatever, from the start as a baby till now. And you go, and I'm pretty sure you will find a situation somewhere where you never thought about, where you felt that, and then you go into it. And basically, it's just letting you emotional body feel and understand the context of these different situations with those different emotions and feelings. And it helped me a lot to understand when I had certain emotions and feelings. Oh, that is this. And then I can go back with shadow work from what the trigger was, etc., etc. But I have known quite a bit of people, mostly men, that have a tremendous amount of difficulty with even just understanding, or realizing what emotional state they have. Of course, if you already have difficulty with that, well, how the hell are you gonna even express it? Uh, you're like stuck almost. And there was one time, big bodybuilder, was pure tank, like big ass tank, and he came to me, and he was talking about, man, dude, you know, I'm not scared often, but there was one time my girlfriend came to me and she asked me like, there's only one thing that if she asked me that I get terrified of, and that was like, yeah, how do you feel? Like, can you tell me how you feel? And he just flipped out and he freaked out, and because and this is again a story for another time, but a lot of times men were trained in the past to be the rock and not see vulnerability of the expression of emotions or feelings as a strong point. It was seen as a weakness. Even now today, I do see it still quite a bit. It is changing. It is quite changing, thanks also, to different spiritual teachers, and also healers and psychologists. No, also, the world is changing, but it's not fast. It just goes step by step, and also because of people like you and me trying to, give a little bit of insight or letting you know that you're not alone, and you can actually do something. It's never too late. You can always do something. Uh,
There's a lot of
oh, get emotional.
tools, a
Oh
lot of
man,
tools out there, a lot of stuff to be shared to help get in touch with emotions, to identify emotions, increase
yes,
emotional awareness, and get those energies, get back in touch with those energies, and get them moving, right? Because, like you
yes,
said, they're really important to who we are, and so much of our experience you mentioned with men is kind of dissociating from our feelings, dissociating from our emotions, and they just sort of get suppressed. I mean, they just get left
yeah.
behind, suppressed, and I personally feel emotions are very important, and it's really connected to who we are, like at a deeper level. So, um, yeah, I'm in a lot of agreement with you on the value of those. And
I think the difficulty is finding the right people to safely express them and to just be you with how you feel and are. Um, and a lot of times, well, people are, I'm not saying everybody is the same, but a lot of times, you get shamed or blamed for it. And I think this is, by the way, one of the things that I perceive as not normal. It happens all the time. I know that it happens all the time, but a lot of people all over the world, the shaming and blaming in some way or form. I think it's not normal. Even though 99% of the people, well, maybe not 99, but you get my point, do it, and it's perceived as normal. I don't think it's normal in any way or form. In any way or form. And I have to hold myself back because I get mad and angry about it in a good way, in the sense of, I want to reach the people and to realize that it's not normal. It's not how human beings should do towards each other. Um, but I always have to say, we came a long way. I mean, look at the Middle Ages. We came a long way. I mean, it is improving. In the Middle Ages, we were smiling and laughing and seeing it as entertainment to chop someone's head off. So, I always have to give that as an example to, oh, yeah, no, we came a long way. So, it's going. um,
this would definitely be like a whole nother subject to explore, but
mm,
uh, yeah, just to touch on it real quick, I personally really feel that emotions are really valuable, and it's in some ways it's something that I think humanity has, not just men, but humanity has really disowned our emotional nature. I really believe we're emotional beings. We have emotions, we have feelings, and a lot of times in the world we live in, it's very difficult to really be in that express those
yeah,
vulnerable feelings. And you mentioned the shame. There's so much just non-acceptance for these feelings that we have in the world we live in. And um, I personally, this is a personal value of mine. I really want to help bring awareness and wisdom to so that we can really be who we are, emotional beings, and express who we are authentically. Um, yeah, I just felt like sharing a little bit there because that this is a subject that I feel passionate about myself. It um,
I have
sounds
nothing to I have nothing to add to that. Um, yeah.
so. I feel like we've probably gone for I think a good had a great conversation. We've covered a fair amount of stuff today, and um, God, I really appreciate you for sharing so vulnerably about your personal experience. You decided to share something very personal that you had gone through, and come on here with someone you hadn't met before, and took that leap to share this information as well of how you've healed out of that and given other people, I would say, inspiration, tools and inspiration if they're going through something similar. Um, and it sounds like you have a lot more tools and wisdom to be shared. Um, um, yeah, I would. Would you like to share a little bit about like maybe how do you want to share how people could connect with you, or do you have offerings you want to share?
Um, well, for now, I am planning to do a podcast. Um, Thanks also again, thanks to you being inspirational and putting yourself also out there. It inspired me to finally do my own. And I will not be waiting anymore because there is no perfect moment. There never will be a perfect moment. You just have to do, what feels right, and you have to take a leap of faith in essence, because you don't know how it's gonna go in any way or form. You just believe in yourself, and you hope you go. So yes, I will be doing a podcast starting next Monday at 11. I think it's 11 September. And I will start at very cliche 11:11, so 11 o'clock, 11 minutes past 11.
Perfect timing. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny and I liked it, and it was cheeky and cheesy, and I was like, I'm gonna roll with it. So we're gonna do that. And basically, in my podcast, what I want to do, I want to speak a part of my own experiences, like I have done today. Um, then a second part that I do collect, or like I find questions anonymously, that I think I can give a really good detailed answer on with concrete examples, etc., etc. So I want to answer those, so that other people hopefully also can have some help with those. But I only do that part because so that people get to know me and get to understand, okay, what type of questions they can answer or they can ask me, because I really would love it if a lot of people would join me. Oh, I get emotional. um whew. So it would be amazing if a lot of people would join me on my first podcast, because I would love to have everybody with me, because it inspires me. It gives me the feeling of that people are reaching out or supporting in real life, well, on Twitch then. And it would be amazing if anyone then would ask me a question about, well, pretty much anything in spirituality, self-development, psychology, in that area. And I think my strong suit, and you also mentioned it, and thank you for that I tend to speak only out of my own life experience. I will never speak about anything that I do not have experience with. And that also took, quite a bit of awareness, um, because I think people have good intentions, but a lot of times people tend to talk about something they have no clue about. And with all due respect, well, then just don't speak in a way. But I understand this can be a little bit confronting, and and I mean it in a very loving way, and I'm pretty sure people also feel that intention. Um, but it helps you also to find yourself and to you know to get a grounded to feel grounded and to get a good sense of self, because you're only speaking about your own experiences. uh so yeah, but that's maybe just a little bit besides the point. So yes, I will be doing my podcast on Twitch. Probably, hopefully, I think I'm just gonna post it on YouTube. And probably, but I still have to figure it out how to use it on Spotify. Um, and that's it for now. I have no idea how the future will be, but I feel this was long overdue. And of course, I do hope, even if I can only help one person, was all worth it, really.
Nice.
So yeah. If you wanna know the name for my YouTube channel or Twitch, it's very easy. I think you can see the name down there, Haradeas. Just fill in that name and you will find me everywhere. Um, you
And
will see.
we'll put all any details you want. I'll add it to the description of this video.
Mm.
So if you want any links or descriptions, check the description of this video, guys, and we'll have his contact or whatever stuff to connect with him more, his podcast or whatever else he's doing. We'll add that stuff there.
I do gonna say one thing. I definitely gonna this weekend. I do gonna make a video to very detailed a technique that I done myself to heal me from PTSD without any type of medication or whatever. Which this time was too short. But it is basically a version, the word from the Honopono, extreme self-love way of doing things. But yeah, hopefully that can also help a lot of people. And of course, please, if you join me in the podcast, please ask me questions. Like if you're interested or you just want to show your support or anything really, just that reaching out, that connection aspect. Oh, it's amazing.
It creates the conversation, right? When you get questions
Yes,
back and
it's
asking for advice and
yes, it's that
people involved.
going up and down and that connection that, oh, you are here and I am here and we have a conversation. It's not just rattling off some information or stuff like that. That's not how I roll. So yeah. But again, I do want to acknowledge you, Joe, for making that post and sticking yourself out there. Because I do appreciate that it takes a lot of courage and also you going for what you believe in and you want to achieve and do. And I also want to thank you for that. And thank you for that I was invited for this. Do I have to say podcast or what is this?
I've been calling it wisdom conversations.
Oh,
Is
okay. Wisdom
the name
conversation.
I came up with to kind of just generally say like we're talking here, we're having conversations, we're talking about fun, healing, wisdom stuff, and we're creating community. So that's what I'm calling it so far.
Yeah, yeah. And it's I would highly recommend find some spiritual teachers that fit you. One for me, I have some of them, from Teals 1 to Eckhart Tolle to Sadhguru, but please find yours that is fits with you and roll with it. It's really that simple.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you so much for all that. I also wanted to just invite to thank everyone who's watched this episode and who has enjoyed this or potentially gotten some entertainment or information from this. Thank you for participating in this. One thing I was going to suggest is that if any of you guys have any questions or anything that came up during this conversation, maybe for Michael or for me, please leave comments. He loves questions, so bring him some questions, and maybe he can use those in future podcasts. What do you want to hear more about spirituality wise, and just in general too, guys? Like, what do you guys want to hear about on this channel? Like, this is a good place for conversation and questions. So please share your comments and join in here. And I also want to put out an invitation. If you're someone who wants to come on here, like Michael did today, and have a conversation with me, leave a comment. You could be on here tomorrow, because I love inviting different people, getting different perspectives. Every perspective is a new invitation, a new conversation. So if you're interested in coming on here and doing one of these with me, just leave a comment, and we can come on here and upload a new conversation to this channel too. So feel free, if any guys, however you guys want to join up onto this, join in here, just feel free to reach out. And yeah, I think that pretty much, yeah, we covered a lot of stuff. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this conversation. Is there anything else you wanted to finish off by saying, or do you feel pretty good here?
Thank you, Joe, and thank you everyone that listened, and hopefully you guys got something from it. That's that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
thank you so much as well. And I would love to have you back on the show sometime if you want to come back on and do another conversation. I think I've really enjoyed it, and you fit real well in here. So
Well, thank you, and also I feel, yeah, I'm pretty sure in the future I will be back. So
sounds great. All right, take care, and till next time, guys. Subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and join us in the next conversation. And we'll join Michael on his stuff here too. So, all right, take care, everybody.